So I'm ready to go, guys. I got my root beer. This is Henry Weinhard's root beer, gourmet stuff, none of that rubbish from A&W. They used to be great, but they sold out and they got wimpy, and that's a real shame. You can see that I'm still working on my oil painting here from last time. Lucky you guys. So we're gonna be who's talking though? Is it Blowhard? That's Whip It. Whip It the Blowhard is making weird noises over there. Speaking of weird noises and weird things, I have these things stuck in my ear. I feel like I'm from an alien planet here. Um, no, I don't. This is weird for me to have these things on my ears, but everyone has them. I mean, look at anyone who goes to a concert. You can see these things abounding everywhere. They have them attached to their back and all this other stuff. And who says a dude can't join the big leagues with concert musicians? So here's how the painting's going so far. I haven't. I've worked on it a little bit since the last time we live streamed, and I'm still having a good time with it. One of the things with oil paint that I'm always aware of and trying to fix, I think, is trying to get little details with wet paint. I mean, this is a bulky medium here, and to get really thin lines, there's a couple ways you can do it. And God knows I've had to do it before, and I've succeeded at it. But you got to reacquaint yourself with this stuff all the time. It doesn't just you don't just learn it once and it stays in your head forever. Don't ask me why that is. I couldn't tell you. And Flowhard here is with us. Flowy, are you over there? Yes, you are. The hound dog is with us as always. Hound dog. Um, Flowy's been with me since for 14 years now. She kind of takes over after the original Blowhard, which is a ram. That's where the name Blowhard came from. A ram was a blowhard. She used to act like she was tough and she wasn't, so I called her Blowhard. Does that make sense? Of course it does. I'm using this chisel edge brush right here. It's a filbert to get some of these sharp lines that I need. They're not always sharp. A lot of them are not sharp at all. But we endeavor to try. We always endeavor to try. One thing you always want to do is replenish your paint. If you're working with paint like this right here, that's not enough, okay? So get your paint out and replenish it like over here, see? That's the way it should be. And over here, and sort of over here. If you don't set yourself up right, remember that painting is hard enough as it is without having your palette and your tools um, getting in the way of this simple act of painting. You'll also notice that there's a lot of sharp edges here and there's a lot of lost things here. That's painter talk um, for edge control. Another problem here is I need to actually move this forward so it's kind of in the shadow, because whenever light hits these things, you can't judge how this thing looks because there's glare that comes off wet paint. No charge for that one. So as I plunge forward here on this painting right here, you can watch me do whatever I can to make this legible here. This is based on the Norman Rockwell painting of the four tenors here in a barbershop. Obviously, this is a barbershop quartet. A while ago, I actually joined a barbershop quartet, but the guy who led the singers was a real dick. If you don't give people personal uh, time to help them out, they're not going to stick around. And that's what this guy did. He just took it for granted that all these people would stick around. The people that didn't need help didn't need help. So guys like me did. But this guy was not that smart socially. Socially smart people, like good teachers, rare as they are, look for the people that really need help. This guy didn't do it. Most teachers don't do it. And that's why I dropped out. That's the only reason I dropped out, because I was having fun there. Damn fools. Okay, let me look at this right here. I'm going to look at the various hands, and there's a bigger one here that I have. And where did this go? Is this back here? No. Here it is. Wonder of wonders. Here's the actual painting that Rockwell did. And there's a crappy reproduction we got online. Okay, so this hand has to come down here. So how am I going to do this hand, guys? Look at this little spot right here and tell me how I'm going to solve this. Paint along with the dude. Let's try this, which is a standard procedure for me. We're going to do a blocking of the contours. No detail, no little in-between tones, just a blocking of the major color. That's oh, does he have a? He doesn't have a hand here. He has his gloves, right? Well, all right. So we're gonna wipe that out and change it. How are we gonna change things? Well, this is how you do it. We're gonna scrape this out. I'm gonna grab a really skinny brush right here, and we're gonna do the white here. And this is always an act of great delicacy right here. I've got a wedge kind of a brush right here, and that's going to fit the bill. Everything has a tone to it. Everything has a color and a tone. And when you get those things right, you're going to make it look like it's real. I think we need more realists in the world of comic book illustration, because I think I've always thought that if you can be a realist, you are great. And I was never going to settle to be someone who didn't rate, so I worked really hard at it and continue to do that because I think it's fun. Until Daddy took the T-bird away. See that little accent I put in right there? It's just kind of a little mark that goes in a little space right there to show dimension and uh, a little in and out area that normally is flat. But when you put in little added tones, it kind of kicks things into a different kind of a gear. Um, this mug right here, I had two references on here. These are the two ones right here. Heineken and Molson. Of course, I'm a big beer drinker, so I know all about these things. Right? I'm taking my cues from the pattern here on the mug. Of course, mine's got a little top on it, like all the good barbarians go. And I'm using my color tips from here. So let's see if I can do this ale here. No, I'm not a drinker. I don't know about this stuff, but let's just kind of block it in right now. For right now, this is you guys always see me start with a block of a standard color base, which we call local color. Local color is if a girl has blonde hair, it's yellow, or darker yellow, or brown yellow. If somebody has, if the sky is blue, well, that's the local color of a sky. Then you just got to figure out what kind of blue is it. Is it light blue? Is it purple blue, or green blue, or all that? And then you got to figure out how light it is compared to, well, how light the sky is. And then there's going to be little things going on that darken the blue and all that stuff. Let's take this chisel filbert right here that I've been using, and let's see if I can very delicately put this in right here. No promises, people, but then this is not a world of promises. So this should give me a chance to kind of show off how I cut in with things. Like so. Actually, that's not cutting in. I'll tell you when I'm going to do it, okay? This is a beveled surface right here. So and it's glass. So you got, looking at it scientifically or just plain being smart, glass is see-through, but the thicker it is, like this thing here, the more opaque it's going to be. And when you bevel the glass like this, it's especially going to be um, distorted a little bit. See how I'm doing that, guys? Um, anyway, that's the foundation. I call that the foundation of where to go from here. You've got to establish basic stuff first. Um, these guys that go in with a lot of detail right away, I've never gotten that. If you want to be smart about it, smarter than the average bear, you're going to set things up like this, and then you go in with colors on top of it, like the lighter color. Like I'll put it in right now, so I'll show you what I mean. Okay, like that. Okay, it's it's a smart way to work. It's and smart is the way you want to do it because um, if you don't know these fundamentals, you're going to back yourself into a corner. You're going to get very, very frustrated. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that to yourself. So you you go about learning these things incrementally because nothing happens right away. It happens over time, and that at the end of your life, you're going to say, "Did I work hard enough to understand what I was doing?" And hopefully, the answer is yes. Another thing that has to go on there over the top of this are the beads of sweat there, okay, or the beads of condensation, more likely here. And just by looking at this, I can see that it needs a couple other things that I'm just going to put in there because it seems to look right, look better. And I think I'm going to punch up some really light ones here, like right here. That's too white. So we corrected. See, um, the only reason I can do this is because I worked at it. And according to this thing right here, this reference of this mug, um, it's got a white area down there. That's the bottom of the mug without the beer into it. So we're gonna do what I see here. Okay, it's I'm breaking it down to what I consider to be common sense, which these days is anything but common. Well, maybe it's always been that way. I don't know. I really need reference in how this works, but I'm just gonna kind of wing it for right now. If I'm really smart, I'm gonna go back to the source and find something for real, like either something online that's exactly what I'm looking for, or the smartest way of all to do it, just go out and buy one of these damn things. Let's get a smaller brush right here. I've got this really cool, this Princeton brush right here. See that? It says stroke on it, whatever that means. No kidding, right? Velvet touch. It's a 1/4 inch. So here's what I mean about carving in, okay? There, watch this here. Okay, that's carving in. I was able to cut down on the width of the line there by using by cutting in with a a different colored paint. So let's, so according to what I can just naturally figure out on my own. Oh, you know what? Okay, so I just realized this thing is, this pattern keeps going down here like this. And it's like that and like that. Okay, so let's move in here for the kill. So from here, it's just a matter of just careful manipulation. Slow your strokes down, slow down the whole process right here, because it's a delicate one from here on. And you know, you can go in later on with clothes and slash stuff in really fast and look really cool at it, but this demands a little smarter, um, more careful touch because the drawing area is so small that you want to be careful with it. Okay, I kind of see what's going on here. So we'll carry this down to the way it looks on this right here, okay? And it's got a lot of little things going on here, which I think is cool. I like putting these little things in like this. It sure helps with the realism. And obviously, you know, I don't got to tell you guys this, but oil paint, that's the magic of oil paint. You can manipulate it. Um, you can manipulate all the edges to the finest point. I think we need to get that line back here. So let's see if we can put it in as delicately as we need to put it in. Now, if I get this wrong, if the ellipses aren't right, the circles that make up a round thing aren't right, I've got to fix them. Okay? Everything has to be fixed that's not right if you're going to be a realist. And I know you guys are desperate to be realists. Conan's nose got really ruined by something completely out of my control. So we have to put it back in again, right? Okay, so um, you can do this only by knowing the planes of the nose. Everything has planes to it. Even a round ball has planes to it. So it doesn't really, but if you want to give something strength, you can break it down into those little pictures you see where the round ball is divided into little facets, like a diamond. And sometimes when you do that, you're going to get more out of uh, the object than if you painted it super smooth, because super smooth is kind of anonymous. It doesn't really have any punch to it. Now, there's a lot of guys that use paint really smoothly. Boris is a great example of someone that just is an unbelievable brush control, and he literally likes to blend his paint mostly throughout the entire area. So I'm mixing up, you know, the right color paint, and then we soften the areas that need softening, either by mixing up another color that's in between those two colors, or if you're really lazy, just go ahead and blend it, uh, blend the paint as it's on the surface right here. Um, one thing about painting is and how we've been trained to use it. Think about we train in for oil paint. We train in gouache um, using what we call tiles, or we use well, that's what we use. And because you can't instantly blend things with a paint that dries fast, you have to do it. You have to make deliberate decisions about how it's going to go in there. See my fingers up here? I don't want to smear it in the hand there with my hand. At least it's not going to topple over on me. By the way, we are showing that insane accident on all the channels. This is for your amusement here, right here. You can see me getting clobbered by this very canvas right here. This is the culprit right here. We need to get a little lighter here. So light means white. White is the color that we all use the most. Um, Another practice that isn't avowed by the art snobs out there is using black to get dark. Well, people, if you're going to use white to get light, doesn't it stand to reason you might want to use black to get dark? But no, all the art snobs have a real problem with black. And one dummy passes it down to the next dummy, and then it becomes a golden rule. Well, it's a bunch of crap because, as I've mentioned before, you take away black in the printing process, you're not going to get a dark. But argue they will till the end of time, until they have no breath left. Don't forget the little nose highlight here. That's what we call the dessert of painting. This little wedge tip here is really working well with that. But you can see it's a very delicate operation right here. It's obviously as delicate as brain surgery. And just ask the brain surgeon, and they'll confirm that for you. And we swish it. We swish it in these silicoils here. One is composed of mineral spirits, the supposed non-order kind. Don't believe that. It's not. Of course, it has an order to it. See how delicate that is? Man, it's tough. It's tough going in there. But that's something that I have to learn to do better, because everything that you have to learn does not come out of the box all ready to go. As far as these eyes go, you have to know how the uh, the mechanics of the eyes work before you can make that expression right with the eye. Think of the eye the way everyone does, which is a round sphere, and then you have these lids that close in on it. If you look at the little pink area of the eye there, that's the middle line. So you start there, and then you close the lids according to how you want the expression to work. In this case, he's kind of looking up a little bit, so I have to know I have to know the mechanics of the eye to make that work. See, of course you do. Oh, I'm gonna wreck this spot over here, I'm sure. It's important to show you guys this stage right here, because when you look at finished paintings, you don't think for a moment that this took a long time, or let's just use the maul stick here so I can get up there really close. When you look at a finished painting, all you see is the slickness of it, the blend here, and the perfection there, and it's that's not how I want to do things on this channel right here. Um, I want to reveal, not conceal. I don't believe in concealing, because that doesn't help anyone out. Absolutely nobody is helped by that. So now I have to go in there, and the eye has a certain width, um, and the brow's got to be put in there in a functional way. And then there's the underplane that I haven't put in yet of the eye. Remember this? It's lids, guys. Lids that go up and they go down. They go on the bottom and they go on top. So let's get these tones in here. See how delicate that is? This is what you guys really need to see here. None of this slick finished crap where it just looks like magic. It's not magic. The only people, if you have an artist you really admire, it's because they uh, they know all the things that it takes to make something look real. And that's what realists want. We want to make things look real, because that's one of our great goals in life, is to do that. So a little bit here, a little bit there. So, but you see, it's coming together, right? And that's the way all things come about, incrementally, one stage at a time. This brush is great right here. This is a tiny brush, but it's got a super chisel on it, and I love that. I'm doing further refinements of these various areas here. And there was a time not too long ago when artists did not reveal their so-called tricks. There are no tricks. There's just fundamental knowledge of um, of knowledge, and you keep working it until you've got it down. And however long it takes, it takes. At least I'm clearing up that smudge area that happened earlier. Okay, so we need to put a couple extra tones in here. One of them is going to be, I'm just going according to the planes of the head. We've got a real problem here. We've got a tiny microscopic hair. Doesn't want to go away here. The nerve. How am I going to deal with that? Well, I don't know. I'll figure it out. One thing I can tell you about me is there's a couple things I really can't stand about the world. One is the biggest one is unfairness. When I see, particularly my some bands that I know of that never break and make the big times, I get bothered by that because these bands that I'm thinking of are as good as anything else, and some of them are great from the beginning, and they go at it for years and they never quite break through. But one thing about that phenomenon, I think based on what I've learned, the best times in a band is when you're still struggling, because once you're there, um, here comes the criticisms, and here comes the uh, you can't go to the mailbox without being mobbed by somebody. And these guys are just people like you and I, and it's not something they want to go through. And people would say, well, it comes with the territory. Well, it does, but it doesn't stop people from being mean and rude to them. So you can see I've made up for Conan's face right here being smudged by that accident of God there. If you guys, I'm not gonna guess or assume, but uh, if you guys are painters and want to learn about painting, mention that when you write in, because um, that's when I'm doing these painting demos. I want to make sure I'm addressing the things that you guys want to know. My job is to show you is to take some of the pain out of your life. And when you don't know what you're doing, it's painful. We don't want that. So I'm going to do everything I can to make sure it gets out of the equation here for at least what I'm showing you here. All this knowledge needs to be passed on. If you don't pass it on, if you don't help others, then you're just being a little too centered on yourself, and that's not the way you want to live, really. Oh, let's see here. We got to bring some of the stuff into focus on the mouth, and the way you do that is to put little areas in that are sharp against the areas that are not sharp. And little color shifts help too. Little color shifts, which I call artistic color, they're not, I don't actually see them on there. But in the world of painting, it'll activate the color that the main color that it is. So a little touch of green in there is going to set off the pink in ways that you can't do any other way. So you guys are serious about painting. Set yourself up in your home. Find an area because everyone can find an area if they want it bad enough. Find that area and at least give yourself a fighting chance because, like I keep mentioning, and I was told by my teacher, Mr. Campen, painting is hard enough without your tools getting in the way. So set yourself up. Look at my example here. I'm right-handed. Everything's to the right here. I'm not going over here, which Norman Rockwell did, but who can explain that? I want it right here because I'm right-handed and close to me. And everything I need that I paint with needs to be close to me. I think it would be best if I even had this right here, but this this easel is not set up to do that. At least I nailed this on, so I at least have this. They normally come with just this stupid thing right here, but you need this area to put things on. So I did it. I changed it to make that work. Just like you guys are going to do once you get done hearing about how I do it. Nobody bothers. They're doing a lot more now, but nobody bothers to show you the intricate things. Um, I don't like it when people just send their work out there and it's like perfect, and you look at it and all you're going to do is get intimidated, and it's not going to help you want to learn more. You're going to learn more when people start to explain the process to you. That's going to be a no fail kind of a methodology that people like me need to show you. Okay, well that's going to wrap it up here for today. Thanks for all your comments. Thanks for writing in, guys. And I don't know how other to say it except you're helping me do what I want to do most, which is working on Nexus nonstop. I love the commissions that come in. Um, you guys have been great about ordering some really doozy commissions here, so I'm excited to be working on those as I work on Nexus stuff at the same time. So all you can do is say I appreciate what you're doing, and it's wonderful to know that no one really has to be doing this, and you are anyway. So a higher compliment I wouldn't know how to classify. So that's it for today's live stream, and I'll see you next week, okay, um, for another broadcast. And I look forward to hearing from you guys what you think about the one that's taking place now. Take care. Be a good oil painter. We'll see you soon.